12,897 video views for 0.2 cents per view, making a total of $25.72. And then 42 email list subscribers, 6 Spotify followers, 6 pre-saves in the song, and 10 Instagram followers for a total of $66.39. So remember, the entire reason we did this was to create a pool of people we can retarget on launch day, because the song's not even out yet, and get the email info and get people to follow us and pre-save the song on Spotify before the song's out yet, of course. And then we set that whole stuff up in this video if you haven't seen it, but these are the results. Now with Facebook ads, you can't just make them and forget them. So in the last video, we made them and we forgot them. But in the meantime, I went through and did some optimization steps to get them to perform better, in particular with the free download video, or sorry, the free download campaign. But the video views campaign still had some tweaks, and I want to show you all the different things you can do to try to get the most out of every single marketing dollar that you spend. So as I explained in the last video, that the thing called campaign budget optimization, with these 3 ad sets, Facebook is going to automatically allocate whatever is going to get me the most bang for my buck. So as you can see here, these 2 were the cheapest results, or through play or 15-second video play. And since this is an Instagram story ad, that's a 100% video view. And you can see that they put most of my budget, if I look here, they put most of the budget towards those because they were the cheapest. Now they can't always find those cheap results, and that's when they go to the more expensive results. And Facebook's kind of always tweaking the dials to kind of see what performs best, so that's why you might see some of the more expensive results come through, in addition to there being more of those people available at a given time. Now at a first glance, this campaign makes sense, and I didn't really touch this one, but you can see that it reached 120,000 people, and this was my negative green list. Now you can see in the last video I made that the green list was just a bunch of what I call green light countries that are more first worldy, high budget, consumer type countries, and every company in the world is trying to target those people. So naturally the ad costs are higher. Much less people are targeting negative green countries or every other country in the world, because those people don't have as much money to spend on ads. So therefore they're cheaper, and that's why most of the budget, about 50%, went towards those countries. So the second best performing audience was my lookalike bridge neutron audience. And this is what's called a lookalike audience, which basically I got a couple thousand people to do something I wanted on my last signal, which was click or swipe up and listen to my song. So because I did that, I can make an audience of new people. They're not the same as that couple thousand people, who are most similar to those people based on all the data Facebook has, which is a lot on everyone on their platform. So you can get pretty in-depth. For example, if you click up here, breakdown, go by delivery, you can just, let's say gender, for example. This is the video views campaign, and you can see that it was pretty much the same for women and men. And in particular, it's exactly the same. There just happened to be more men that were available in the different targeting parameters that I selected. Now we can also look at age, and this gets a little hard to look at with all the columns and rows and stuff, but you can see that it performed best for people 18 to 24, pretty much the same for 13 to 17, and decently good for 25 to 34, which for me is exactly as expected. If I look at my Spotify for artist data, it lines up with that exactly. But I'm also pulling in some people from higher, older demographics, which is fine, but you know, it's less. So I just let Facebook determine that on its own instead of me excluding those people. Now the country list gets a little insane because it is every single country that they have listed. But if I go through and just kind of look for the highlights here, see Indonesia has a pretty high amount, 2,400, Chile, 800, Algeria, 588, and Argentina, 1,067. Now there's only 7 views for the United States. So since I'm from the United States, I think going forward, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy a new ad set that's just targeted at the United States and maybe the United Kingdom to try to force more views from those people, even though they're more expensive, just because, you know, it's my homeland. I want to have a significant portion of views coming from people in my own country, just because that makes sense. And I don't want to only have people from third world countries. Not that there's anything wrong. I appreciate those people who love my music, but I want to have more people from my own country, not 7. So now for the more complicated campaign. This was the free download campaign, so people could swipe up, they get a free download of my song if they give me their email address, and then once they do that, it brings them to a page that says, hey, if you like the song and you have Spotify, which they do because I targeted them that they have Spotify, they can just click pre-save and it'll go to my hyperfollow page, and they'll follow me and pre-save the song, of which I get 6. So there were 42 people who gave me their email address, which is fantastic because I'll be emailing them in a couple of days, and then I'll be emailing them on single release day to go check out the song. So what happened with this ad is that in the first 24 hours, I had spent $7 and get 0 results. So I started tweaking and adding different audiences. I believe I added this lookalike audience and this other lookalike greenlight audience. And I forget if I added this bridge audience or if I added that in the past video. But either way, I just started adding in all these audiences and letting Facebook go out and determine who would actually click this thing. And then of course here, I think the first day, the second day, the cost went from, $7 for nothing to 2 clicks for like $14. So very, very expensive. And then it got to, 10 or whatever for like $16, to the point where now I spent 66, and it's gotten 42 results for about $1.58 per result. And remember, the first $7 was wasted, and the algorithm's kind of constantly churning to get me better results. So if I open up the actual chart here, you can see the first 2 days, absolutely nothing, $7 to $10 kind of thing. And then $1.52 per result, $1.90 per result, $1.21, and $1.22. So the cost is in general going down, and you could probably push this down to around $1 per click, maybe 50 cents per email. It depends, but you'd really want to optimize how that's performing. So the first way I would go about optimizing this further is I would target this cheapest Neutron lookalike audience where it has 37 results. And I'm going to go into breakdown and first look at just the gender. And so here we can see that men are cheaper, so you could exclude women. You can go to age and gender, and you can try to find what's the cheapest in this. 35 to 44-year-old males are cheap, even older, women and male, but those are kind of outside my demographics, and there's only one, so you can't really trust that data. It's more of an outlier, so I'd be much more likely to go with 18 to 24-year-old males to try to drive the cost down closer to $1.08. Now we could even go as far to look at platform. We could exclude Facebook stories and Messenger stories and just focus on Instagram stories. And we can also see here that iPhone users are pretty much not clicking on the ad at all for whatever reason. That's pretty typical, I found. Android tends to get better results for whatever reason. So you could focus on Android smartphones for Instagram. That'll be the cheapest. So you could look at the countries, but I would kind of go against this at this point, just because you want to have a diverse group of people. Dominican Republic is pretty cheap, so that might be a good place to maybe not target explicitly, but target more of. India, of course, is always one of the cheapest. Indonesia is also always very cheap. Nothing from the United States. So this is where I might split off the United States and, the United Kingdom, maybe Australia, other big countries like that. Put them in their own audience and target them explicitly if you want to grow your kind of core country that you're from, which I do. So the next thing you can do to optimize, in this case I only had one ad, but you could use multiple ads. In fact, I encourage you to use multiple ads. You can click this ads for one campaign, and this shows you all the different ads. In this case, they're the same, but they could be different. And you can start to look at data on a per ad basis. Now, the other thing that Facebook does is it puts your video into quality, engagement, and conversion rate ranking. So you can see that certain ones of these ads, this one is above average, and then this one's average, this one has no data. For some reason, it's actually very curious why that one has no data. And since we're using a conversion campaign, one of the metrics you might want to focus on, we got 42 results, but you can also look at clicks. You can see that we got 372 clicks or 227 unique link clicks. So some people clicked it multiple times for whatever reason. So since that's a pretty small rate for engagement per click, you might want to focus on tweaking, or I might want to focus on tweaking the actual landing page to try to encourage people to subscribe more. You might try just flipping the order of, like, if your form's higher, or if the album artwork's higher, or if there's a song demo on that page, and then kind of do a split test where you compare how many people sign up for one versus how many sign up for the other. I want you to remember the whole reason we did this. Remember, this song's not even out yet. So what we were doing was we were using the video views campaign so that we can make a custom audience of people that watched the entire video. And we generated email subscribers so that we can contact them like 2 days before the song's out, reminding them to pre-save, and the day the song's out, reminding them to save it and follow me on Spotify. If you do this for every single song, you're going to generate millions of people to retarget that have shown interest in your music, and you're going to have hundreds or thousands of people who have given you consent via their email address to contact them. and share what's going on with your music. So if this is the first music marketing video you've ever seen of mine, I highly recommend you check out this playlist that has this whole music marketing process of my upcoming single, where I'm sharing literally everything I'm doing to try to promote this single. It's going to help you out a ton. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see the future episodes where I continue this over the next couple of videos, and then like this video and comment if you have any questions. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you Friday.